table, grab a seat and sit down. It's 20 below zero outside, so you might as well hang around. We got some music that we've been wanting you to hear. So lean back, kick your shoes off, quiet down and drink your beer. We ain't got the blues, no, 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 no. I ain't feeling too bad. We ain't got the blues, no, 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 no. We ain't feeling too bad. There ain't nobody in this room tonight got any reason to be sad. Now I'm gonna stand here on this chair like a monkey and play this thing. Tap my feet and pick and strum and listen to it sing. I ain't going nowhere till I hear the telephone ring and a voice say, New York, New York, New York, New York. We're ready for Eugene.
My friend Eugene, LaFond.
I ain't got the blues, no, 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 and I ain't feeling too bad. We ain't got the blues, no, 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 we ain't feeling too bad. There ain't nobody in this room tonight got any reason to be sad. Now if you don't feel like dancing, don't blame it on your shoes. If you're feeling low down, don't blame it on the blues. Don't blame the dynamite, honey, if you can't light the fuse. There's a party going on here tonight, and it's up to me and you, and I ain't got the blues. No, 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 no. I ain't feeling too bad. We ain't got the blues. No, 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 no. We ain't feeling too bad. There ain't nobody in this room tonight got any reason to be sad. Lorenzo Kegan.
I road you big crawling down yours. Maybe if we're lucky we can open some doors. Maybe help some people from falling into a trap. Maybe help somebody with a real handicap. I learned my lessons all these years on my back. Well, look behind you and always stay on the track. Life's a gift and don't you ever forget. You gotta learn to give before you can get. We got the blues, no, 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 we ain't feeling too bad. We got the blues, no, 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 we ain't feeling too bad. There ain't nobody in this room tonight got any reason to be sad. Travel this world that I've been from coast to coast. People who never give, who need our help most. They don't know what they're missing and they won't understand. But their troubles will melt away if they just lend a hand. Got a message for all you sitting around your wheelchairs. Pride them open thinking nobody cares. You can spend a lifetime working for someone to blame. You waste the precious time, you still come out the same. Got the blues? No, 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 no. And I ain't feeling too bad. We got the blues, no, 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 no. And I ain't feeling too bad. There ain't nobody in this room tonight got any reason to be sad. Say it, Gino. Leaning on a bar, take a minute to think about how lucky you are. Don't take too much for granted and think that life is a breeze. Some of those less fortunate could use a hand, please. No, you able-bodied, fast-talking jacks, don't walk under ladders and never step on the cracks. Maybe if you're lucky you live to be 105. Me, I'm just mighty lucky to be here alive. I got the blues, no, 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 and I ain't feeling too bad. Ain't got the blues, no, 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 I ain't feeling too bad. There ain't nobody in this room tonight got any reason to be sad. Me, don't worry about it, let it trouble my head. Wake up every morning, Alfonso gives me breakfast in bed. Way that hand and foot, some people say a king. Better off than most folks, at least I can sing. Ain't got the blues, no, 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 no. And I ain't feeling too bad. Hoorah, hoorah. Ain't got the blues, no, 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 no. And I ain't feeling too bad. There's nobody in this world tonight. Not any reason to be sad. Yes, sir. All right. What a way to come in.
That's the way to make an entrance.
That's an entry. How long have you guys been at this? Well, they call me Lorenzo. Yeah. Okay. I guess what I'm going to attempt to do here is sort of make a little bit of a visual and verbal diary of a lot of things that I've been trying to get down in a book form. But whether that book ever becomes a reality or whether it's ever published, of course, remains to be seen. But in the meantime, what's ever happening here tonight is, from what I understand, permanent history, and can be drawn upon to look at any time. Thanks to my good friends who are here this evening, the director and main coordinator Paul White, and his right-hand assistant Dick Cohn on camera. Camille Wartado is also helping on the sound.
What's that name again?
Excuse me. Okay. Cameos to be on camera. We got my good friends Marilyn and Marc Percansky on either side of me. And much to my great delight, a young lady that's been part of my life for the last 20 years, Patty Goyaz Kegan, sitting there in the red blouse. But strangely enough, and I wanted to say even more so than that, Bob Hiley, of course, can never forget, and his friend Larry. You know, one thing that makes this evening even stranger than it really is, I just remembered as we were queuing up, and I told you I would wait till we were on camera before I'd actually get it down, indulged in videotape. Is that today is March 20. Today is March 24th. March 24th, 1984. Now, March 24th, 26 years ago today, was the day that I became a quadriplegic, which is, which I just remembered, a few minutes before the film. Did you hear that, Paul?
Yeah.
So that means I've been sitting here in this wheelchair now for about 26 years, observing a few things. Exactly 26 years. And I've been observing a few things, and a lot of things have happened to me because I'm in a wheelchair. I'm sure it had lots to do with it. And so what I've been trying to get down in book form mainly is the story of my life and the communications that have went down between the able-bodied so-called normal world and myself, a disabled individual, known medically as spinal cord injured quadriplegic. People treat people in wheelchairs different, you know. They treat everybody else because they feel uncomfortable at first when a person's disabled, because the person's not like themselves, you know. Well, one of the first things I've always tried to do was bring people past this disability, past the wheelchair, past all the crippledness and the handicappedness, and have them deal with me as a person, as an individual, as who I am. You know, Larry Kegan. Not the wheelchair, but Larry Kegan. And many people have told me that I've been very successful in being able to bring people past this handicap.
Well, after we've done that, and I'm able to do that, then I start getting treated as who I am, and all kinds of things begin to happen, from craziness to the most serious life, death, insanity affairs that have happened. And I guess I'm going to try to, tell you some of these different stories. Might be interesting. But real quick, what I'll say is one of the things that happened after I got hurt, spent a year in the hospital, and spent 6 months actually before I even got to see my own house again. I came home from the hospital and was really angry at being in a wheelchair. Got drunk a lot and was pretty mean to my parents and my sister and brother. In fact, I counted on them a lot for help. I could tell that my mother was deeply injured by looking at my injury, which made me feel somewhat self-conscious. One day my father came in the room and he said, "Lad, I think it's about time that you begin to realize that you have to do something with your life, regardless if you're paralyzed or not." He said, "I don't want any bums hanging around my house." He said, "You're going to have to get it together and go to work or go to school or do something. Because if not, I'm going to have to put you in some kind of like rest home or something." Well, he said it'd be a nice place, but that he would rather have me at home just laying around the house. So I decided that I better do something. So I registered at school, went to St. Thomas College for a year. And all men around there. It was sort of a men's college, and I don't know, I wasn't too interested in school. Well, one day I was reading, I was about 20 years old, and I was reading about a guy down in Mexico, Guadalajara, Mexico, in fact, who had a place that he was renting out bedrooms to handicapped people. And it said, the article said something like $200 a month for room board and an attendant. Well, I asked my dad if he'd fly me down there for the summer, and he did. He was very anxious to do so. And I think he wanted to fly just as much as I wanted to get there. I don't know. We flew down there, and when we finally found the place out in the country, about 8 or 10 guys around there. Most of them were really loaded. I mean, alcohol loaded, you know. They were vets, war vets, and they were depressed. And they were drinking a lot. And the guy who owned the place, a guy named Bill Cohn, may he rest in peace, was married to a Mexican woman. Her name was Patricia, too. And he came wheeling out there to meet me, and he brought his wife there. And my father, there was 3 houses where he kept these guys housed. And my father asked if I could stay in his house because he wanted to make sure I was taken care of. I was the youngest guy there. Everybody else was about 30 years old, which really seemed old to me at the time. Well, they were all Korean War vets, and Vietnam hadn't even happened yet. Well, I was there in this guy's house, and things were going along pretty good, and I met all these guys who looked at me like I was a punk, you know. Well, I was a punk, you know. I was 19. I just gotten hurt. These guys had been through it.
What's going on the couch? That's what too much noise. It's distracting. Okay, we're rolling.
This song is the first song I ever heard that had anything to do with Mexico. In fact, it might even be the song responsive to me living 10 years in Mexico. Written by the Coasters, made famous by the Coasters. I'm going to try to do it up for you here. It goes something like this. Well, down in Mexico,
Mexicali. There's a crazy little place that I know, where the drinks are hotter than the chili sauce, and the boss is a cat named Joe. He wears a red bandana, plays a cool piano in a honky-tonk down in Mexico. He wears a purple sash and a black mustache in a honky-tonk down in Mexico. Here we go. The first time that I saw him, he was sitting on a piano stool. I said, tell me, Dad, just where the fun began. He just winked his eyes and said, man, be cool. There's a red bandana, plays a cool piano in a honky-tonk down in Mexico. He wears a purple sash and a black mustache in a honky-tonk down in Mexico. All of a sudden in walked a chick. In Mexico, she started playing on this Latin kid. In Mexico, around her waist she wore 3 fishnets. In Mexico, she started playing on the castanet. In Mexico, I didn't know just what to expect. In Mexico, she threw her arms around my neck. In Mexico, we started dancing all around the floor. In Mexico, and then she did a dance I never saw before. So it just south of the border, I mean down in Mexico. And you want to get straight, man, don't hesitate. Just look up a cat named Joe. He wears a red bandana, plays a blues piano in a honky-tonk down in Mexico. He wears a purple sash and a black mustache in a honky-tonk down in Mexico. South of the border, that is, out in Mexico. Cuando el salsa está caliente, cuando los muchachos están tan bonitos, cuando el tequila está picoso down in Mexico. Yeah. Demasiado, loco, yeah, Mexico. In Mexico.
Okay? I'm laying there, I'm 19 years old, thinking that roses, that everything is a barrel of roses. Life is sort of a barrel of roses. All of a sudden, I hear this guy come in, he's drunk, he's just drunk out of his mind. And I can't even understand a guy in a wheelchair getting drunk. I mean, to me, it doesn't make any sense. And he had his Mexican wife there, and they started arguing with each other. The next thing I know, the screams got louder and louder. I'm in the room next door. And the screams got louder and louder. And all of a sudden, I heard things started smashing against the wall and everything. And I'm laying in the bed, and I can't believe what I'm hearing, you know? And all of a sudden, I hear this guy, he pulls the arm of the wheelchair out, and I hear a big, like an arm of a wheelchair going flying across the room. Bang, when it hits the wall, you know? The next thing I hear is just a big thump, whoomp, like that. And sure enough, it was his wife. He just pulled this guy right out of the wheelchair and threw him on the floor. I couldn't believe that people could treat anybody like that, you know what I mean? I just couldn't believe it. Well, I woke up the next morning, and we all went to the breakfast table, and it was like nothing happened, you know, everything was fine. Well, this is sort of the way it was, life sort of was for me at this guy's place, you know, witness of a lot of fighting and a lot of war, ex-war guys talking about the way they used to be and the way they were in the service and stuff, you know. Well, eventually this guy asked me to help him out running his place, and I did, and I learned Spanish, and I ended up take care of the correspondence, and he ended up letting me stay there for nothing. So I stayed there for a year. And then I eventually started my own business, similar to the kind he had, but much better. Had separate bungalows for men and women and so forth. And this guy called me Jew, you know. He says, take a Jew in a wheelchair to take away my, to take away my business. And this guy was real prejudiced. And no one ever had called me a Jew before, you know. That was all new to me, you know, people getting prejudiced because of being a Jew. And he said, of course you're a Jew. Only a Jew would take advantage of me like that and take my business, you know. And I started thinking about that. But, you know, I didn't think it had anything to do with being Jewish. It was just survival, I guess. So I started this place, a much better place than he had, with separate bungalows. And I went around the country and talked about the advantages of living in Mexico. I filled the place up with men and women in wheelchairs from all over the world. And I had it all set up for rehabilitation, you know, where the people would learn how to speak Spanish and they could wheel into the swimming pool and everything like that. But when the guys and girls came down, I asked them what they wanted to do. Told them I had someone to help them out and they could do about anything they want. What do you think was the first thing they wanted to do? That's right. I don't know how you knew that, Paul.
I heard the story before.
All right. Well, they were interested in their sexuality, you know. So I found myself a lot of times running back and forth from a little side village town into Guadalajara, bringing back girls for these guys. And one day when I came back to Minneapolis for a summer, there was a rumor that I was running a whorehouse in Mexico for guys in wheelchairs. Can we just click on and off at any time, Nick? Can you just click off for a second? Okay. No, that's okay. I just sort of catch my breath. That's why I sort of catch my breath, you know. I feel like I'm sort of, I don't know if I'm just tired or what it is, you know, but I'm just, I want to be interesting. I don't want to talk, you know, I'm just non-stop stuff is sort of.
Okay. Well, how can we do this?
You know, I mean, if you guys would know what I mean if you were up here doing it, you know.
Yeah, it's hard.
Maybe you want to
But it's a far
Right, it's a very long story.
What about the rumor that you brought in a pound of marijuana in your wheels?
The cocaine story is what we want to hear.
You don't
get
wanna
all
hear
them
about it.
stories?
You want to see?
Very interesting.
Yeah. Just one, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that, Paul. Let's get to the side of this here. Sorry, let's get this in. Yeah. Okay, right. Let's get it. Okay, I'll give you guys a chance to ask me a question about something else, and then we'll break into it. That's good. Okay. Okay.
I wanted to hear about how you took care of all these guys.
Well, we'll do it. What?
I want to hear about how you took care of all these guys.
Okay. Yes, Patty. Right. Turn the lights down. Too bad you can't turn the lights down when you're doing stuff like this. Yeah, you can? Okay, put the mic down. I'll tell you what I'm going to try to do here is, if I tell you my whole life story, I mean, it won't be enough. We haven't got enough tape for it. So what do we have to do? You have to get the book. The book will be out. Yeah, the book will be out, you know, God willing. God willing, the book will be out another year or 2 years, you know, if I live that long. So, in the meantime, is this taping? So in the meantime, I thought.
What do you think is different? What do you think made the difference between you getting out and doing it and other people giving up? Is that any, why, how come you didn't give up?
That's a good question. When I got hurt, when I was in a year of rehabilitation, I saw a lot of guys around who did give up. Most of the guys were older than I was. All of them were older than I was. I was always the youngest guy around who got hurt. You know what I mean? These guys were old guys. Most of them were farmers. Guys got hurt in tractor accidents, paralyzed. They didn't want to live anymore. They just lay around. Well, when I saw all these guys, I said to myself, if I have to lay around like that, then I don't want to live. Because laying around, staying in bed and not doing anything is like dying. So I said, I don't want to stay in bed and die. So I remember one day I decided, now if I decide to live my life in this wheelchair, I can do anything I want at any time, and go by the rule of thumb that I'm not going to let the wheelchair stop me. Money, it might be intelligence, it might be, physical barriers, but I'm not going to let the wheelchair itself stop me. Well, I can do just about anything then. I can do anything except walk or dance, you know. And then when I learned to drive myself, now all of a sudden I'd be driving down the road, with this convertible going 80 miles. I look at the speedometer. I noticed this is my left hand, Just my left hand pulling the hand control like this. Just going like this. Look at the speedometer going 80 miles an hour. And I'm saying to myself, now this paralyzed guy here, behind the wheel, is driving 80 miles an hour down the highway. Now, if I want to end it all you have to do is go like this. That's fact. It'll be over with. I realized I had some power, you know what I mean? I also realized that I was going down the road, I could, at any time I could run into 5 people on purpose and kill 5 of them. So I still, I realized I was doing something. So, what, a week later? Well, then I got another accident, Yeah, I can tell that story. So I drove a lot. I always bought convertibles. Because, see, if I was driving in a convertible, you could see me, from the shoulders up. And I could I had everybody put my wheelchair in the back trunk. So nobody would really see that I was paralyzed, I could drive down the street and look, as cool as I thought I could look. I could talk to girls on the street, say hi, they'd see me in the car, I said to myself, they don't know I'm really paralyzed, They don't say, come on out and get me, I remember even picking up a couple of girls in Mexico in different places, and them getting in the car, and me thinking to myself, now, what am I going to say when they get in the car about actually, how long is it going to take for them to find out that I can't, walk? Well, I just better tell them right away, and I usually did. Had all kinds of different responses. But most of them stayed. Most of them. I had to admit, one time I walked up with some woman one night, and a guy like Alfonso was helping me, and he threw me in bed, And there was a time when I tied my knees down in bed because my leg would jump up all the time. Sometimes they jump up so much that they throw me out of bed. I had spasms, So I tied my knees down, So one time we were loaded, I had this woman with me, and she had never seen me before. She knew I was in a wheelchair, but that's all she knew. They threw me in bed and they tied my leg, a guy like Alfonso started tying my legs down. And the girl said, now what are you doing that for? And the guy, she was a little bit high herself, about 3 in the morning. And the guy said, well, because he gets up at night and you never know what kind of things he might do. So I said, okay, I was a little embarrassed. And I said, why don't you just wait in the bathroom there while I get undressed and get ready for bed here and get all set. Get all ready for you, So she said, fine, And I'm talking to this guy, boy, we're going to get ready here, get me all ready, at me and sat in bed. I'm talking about how good it's gonna be and everything. And I'm laying there, and finally I lay there and say, okay, Santos. That's what his name, Santos, yeah. I said, I'll see you tomorrow. Come back at 8 o'clock in the morning. And have a good night, because I know I'm going to. So off he'd go, you know. And he'd go and he'd close the door. And I'm laying there in bed now, and I swear to God, this is the truth. Okay, Olivia, you come out now. And I'm laying there, boy, I can't wait for her to come out naked or something, you know. Okay, Olivia, you come out now. I'm laying there, nothing's happening, you know. All of a sudden I realize that Santos, he's gone, you know. And I'm laying there. You might have, you know, I come to think of it. That's part of the story I never even thought about, you know. So I called her a couple more times, and sure enough, she wasn't there. I realized that I was to spend that night by myself in this little cheap 2-hour-a-night motel room, you know. Next day, Santos came back and he said, "You have a good time?" I said, "Have a good night." And I said, "You wouldn't believe it, you know." I said, "Open up that bathroom door." And he opened up the bathroom door, and sure enough, there was a window wide open. You know, he looked out there, and it was obvious. She jumped out the window and took off. She didn't want to have nothing to do with anybody who could, you know, legs jumped around at night, and who knows what's going to happen, you know. So that's one of the stories of my big night in Guadalajara, you know.